Therapy can be a great resource for many people, and there are tremendous obvious benefits with therapy and people going to therapy. But I want to talk about why that may not be the case for everyone, and why actually therapy can be undermining to someone's mental health in certain instances. And there are certain really interesting statistical findings that I want to share with you that'll kind of make you wonder, is therapy for everyone? So did you know that only 40% of people who start therapy actually complete their program? So that leaves 60% of people, which is more than half of people who start therapy and don't finish. And that's a problem, because if somebody starts therapy and the therapist is opening up some really deep wounds of trauma and some really deep emotional blocks, and it's like basically like you have a wound, right? And imagine the doctor comes and slits that wound open and it's just all open and, I'm sure you have a graphic image, right? Imagine them not sealing it back up with stitches or closing it up after, just leaving it open. That's the emotional equivalent of starting therapy and not finishing it for many people. So it is a problem. And of those who go to therapy, even those who don't finish therapy, 75% say they have benefited from it, which is great. You're probably like, hey, the majority of people have benefited from therapy. What about the 25% that didn't? That's a quarter of people who started therapy and didn't feel like they got benefit out of it. So I think that can be a bit of a problem, don't you? I mean, I'm curious. I'm curious as to your thoughts. Please leave it in the comments section. But there's some other things about this that I want to talk about too. And get this. So 50% of people who've gone to therapy report that they did not feel connected to their therapist. They didn't feel a sense of a connection. They didn't feel heard by their own therapist. 50%, I was one of those people. And I will tell you, I felt like a case file. I really felt like, I don't know, it wasn't a good feeling. And mind you, there are great therapists out there. I'm in school to be a therapist, even though I don't know if that's what I want to do, but that's a whole separate conversation. And 1 in 3 people report something called therapy fatigue. A lot of people who go to therapy on a weekly basis get burnt out, tapping into things and rehashing. And 37% of people say that therapy was not what they expected. And granted, we should probably tailor our expectations before going into therapy, but that's a lot of people who are saying that it didn't meet their expectations. Like, that's also concerning too, in my view. So, is therapy for everyone? Maybe not. I mean, and we have to also think of the idea of the word therapy too, in my opinion. Therapy is not just going and sitting in a chair, talking to a psychotherapist. Therapy can be sitting with your pet. Therapy can be going to the park, like me. Like, this is my therapy. Like, this is my therapy right here. You see? And I actually find therapy in recording these videos too. But some of the most profound moments of catharsis that I've experienced has been in nature. And I actually have also found, and I'm not saying that this is for everyone, by the way, and please, if there's something with your mental health that you want to work through, I have to say, for legal reasons, please go see a licensed professional, because at least you should try it to see if it works for you. But I've been using ChatGPT for therapy lately, and ChatGPT has been a godsend. And I feel like I get more understanding, more depth, and more insight from using ChatGPT than I did with a traditional therapist. So, yeah, what do you think? I mean, like, what are your thoughts on therapy? I'm really curious what you guys think out there about therapy, because I have a skeptical position on therapy. I do feel that therapy for many people is a great thing. And if you're going through a lot of trauma, if you're going through something where you don't feel very sane, then you should definitely try therapy. You have to try it before you know if it works for you or not. But that's not my position, whether or not therapy is a good thing. I'm in school to be a therapist. Obviously, I believe in it, but I just feel like it's also important to consider the nuance of the conversation of whether or not it can be more harmful than good for many people. So, what are your thoughts?